Welcome to this video that belongs to Lesson 2 of Module 5. My name is Mari Carmen Suárez de Figueroa Baonza, and the aim of this video is to present the general methodological guidelines for the reuse of knowledge resources. As mentioned in Lesson 1 of this module, the approach of reusing knowledge resources for the development of ontologies can help to reduce both time and cost associated to ontological developments. In this sense, we can speak about reusing different types of knowledge resources. Ontological resources, which can include ontologies, modules, triples, and ontology design patterns, and non-ontological resources such as dictionaries, classification schemes, or taxonomies. To help ontology developers in the process of reusing knowledge resources, the NEON methodology described in Module 3 proposes a series of detailed methodological guidelines depending on the type of resource to be reused. The general outline of all of these guidelines is mainly based on the search of knowledge resources related to the domain to be modeled in the ontology, the analysis and comparison of the resources found with respect to the requirements to be covered by the ontology, and the selection of the most appropriate resources for reuse in the ontology development. The basic proposal to reuse knowledge resources in the development of ontologies consists firstly on seeking ontological resources that could be appropriate. If some ontological resources are found, then they should be analyzed in order to select the most suitable ones to be used in the ontology development. If ontological resources are not found, then we need to search for non-ontological resources. In the case of finding any suitable non-ontological resource for the domain to be modeled, then we must transform those resources into ontologies to be used in the development. Finally, if no suitable knowledge resources in the domain to be modeled are found, then we should develop the ontology from scratch. In this video, we present a series of guidelines for some of the activities previously mentioned. With respect to the search of knowledge resources, the idea is to use domain terminology. Specifically, terms from the preglossary included in the ontology requirement specification document, which is described in Module 4. You should search for knowledge resources of any kind, that is, ontologies, patterns, and non-ontological resources, and such resources should cover at some point the domain terminology. The search should be performed in different places, such as Internet, standardization bodies, intranet of the organization, registries and repositories of ontologies, and ontology vertical portals. If we focus on searching ontologies, we can use different repositories and registries such as LOVE, Linked Open Vocabularies. This registry contains more than 500 ontologies in different domains such as education, the bibliographic domain, among others. Besides ontology repositories, to search ontologies we can use vertical portals such as the one in the Smart City domain or bioportal in the biological and medical domain. Once we have found a set of knowledge resources related to the domain to be modeled, we need to decide if these resources are suitable for the reuse during the development. To do this, we must compare the resources in the same domain using a set of criteria, analyze whether the resources cover the set of competency questions described in the ontology requirement specification document. And with that information, we must select from the candidate resources the most appropriate ones to be reused. This decision is usually based on the coverage of the domain to be modeled as well as on the expressiveness of the implementation language in which such resources are expressed. Let's now see a summary of what was presented in this video. We are going to continue, but we recommend that you stop and try to summarize what you have seen in the video. The reuse of different types of resources in the development of ontologies can reduce time and cost. Different types of knowledge resources can be reused, as for example, ontological resources, including ontologies, modules, triples, and patterns, and non-ontological resources. To reuse knowledge resources, the following general schema is proposed: to search knowledge resources, to analyze and compare them, and to select the most appropriate resources for the ontology development. Finally, it is recommended to review the additional material available on the platform. Thank you very much for your attention.